Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. And Shotzzy's added again in 8s over the last couple of days. Even his teammate Ghosty is getting once again very frustrated about the plays that Shotzzy was making on the other side of things. Just watching Ghosty's POV shows how difficult it is to play against this guy. And also an update on OpTic's from quite a while ago now when they put new subliners in the 50-point club. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. First of all, thought this is pretty cool. So just wanted to mention I've been sharing these over the last few days. The CDL Dream Teams from various players. These are, I believe, appearing all on the Call of Duty League TikTok accounts, and this is the one that, the Vegas guys, obviously Clay and Dotty Temp come up with, so thought it was a pretty interesting set of teams. Clay's gone for Simp, iLLeY Formal, aBeZy, and Ghost Scrims. It's always kind of nice to get Zuma on here, right, as old teammates. So Simp and Zuma on your SMGs, Crim and Formal on your ARs. Crim Ghost is unbelievable. Temp has an interesting one, right, putting Kenny on there. In fairness, Kenny at his peak is certainly right up there, I think. But obviously they're boys anyway, so that makes sense. He's gone aBeZy, Octane as well, and Gunners I thought was a pretty interesting set of teams that he decided to go for, so that was pretty interesting stuff. Obviously there was no Scump on display here, which is why Crim was in the reply saying, oh god, you went there by not going there. So, I think Crim's thinking, oh yeah, I got put on the list and Scump didn't. That's a victory for him for the day. These, though, were the other teams that were put together by Attach and Bance. So, again, Simp and aBeZy making their appearances here. My ideal team would probably be rather similar to Attach's, to be honest. Like, Attach's team is actually absurd. In fairness, these teams would both be competitive. We're talking prime level players here. In the absolute peak of their powers, the best they've ever been, what team would you put together? And, prime aBeZy and prime Scump as a duo, I can't imagine how deadly that would be. So that would probably be my all-time favorited SMG duo. Now, you can go Simp and Shotzzy, that's also a very good way to go. Even you could throw in a guy like Prime Aches, like he was super good back in the day. So maybe some of the real OGs aren't getting quite the respect in these lists, but you can understand why, a bit of recency bias. And it's kind of easier to compare players that are playing in the recent eras. And then he's gone Formal. So, I mean, this is pretty deadly, Attach's list, I can't lie. aBeZy and Scump on your SMGs, we're talking prime level. Prime Formal on your AR, and then you need another player. Now, Crim would be, I think, the perfect guy to round that out. Definitely Crim's underrated, I think, in terms of what he was actually able to do in his career, just because he didn't have crazy numbers at times during the OpTic's Dynasty days. People underrate, I think, what he did for that roster. So, yeah, I think Attach's is very hard to beat here, but I quite like what Bance has come up with as well, especially with Karma rounding out the team. Big update as well for you guys on what's happening with the new Call of Duty. Now, they're still describing this game as a brand new game, but I think we still know and at least believe that it's going to be a continuation to Modern Warfare 2. Now, whether it's a sequel to Modern Warfare 2, as in there actually is a new game called Modern Warfare 3, right? I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Whether it is actually a new game you have to buy separately or whatever, it may well be. And apparently there's going to be some form of zombies at launch. So it might be an entirely new game, but it's difficult to say whether it's actually a new game or if it's a continuation of the current game. Some debate to be had on this. Apparently it's going to be revealed in August by some sort of in-game event. They're going to Fortnite mode, but they probably weren't executed as well as Epic Games have done in the past. And these are the details that Tom Henderson comes out with, so pretty reputable stuff you would imagine. So saying that there's going to be some sort of in-game event where it's going to be revealed. August the 1st is the date that's being thrown around. It's widely reported that the game is essentially a continuation of Modern Warfare 2. So whether that's a new game, whether it's not, I don't really know. It's developed by Cellium Games. We shall have to wait and see, I guess, on this one. The other part, though, is the dates where this is going to arrive. And again, it's going to be a pretty late launch, right? And this is the issue with having the season. Look, I like the fact that the season started early, don't get me wrong, but the fact that Champs is in June and we're going to have to wait 5 months until the new game launches, so, the earliest we're going to get the new season starting again is December, right? So it's like they needed another major cycle is all I'm going to say on that one, right? They need to go 6 majors plus Champs, or or have that stupid mid-season break again, which they did last season, which I don't like, but, there should be other ways to do this. The season shouldn't end already, and we've got a 5-6 months off season, but whatever, these are the dates. So early October is going to be the first weekend of the beta, apparently, and then the full release November the 10th. That's what they reckon. So interesting stuff, but yeah, that means a very long off season, as I'm sure you guys have figured out by this point. Now, let's dive into the CDL point standings. Just wanted to mention, very interesting actually, is that the seeding for the World Championship is actually quite important. If you get the best seed, you play the easiest team round 1, and as the tournament progresses, if you're the number 1 seed, you get the veto advantage all the way. You can always choose what team you want. comps, so you always get the advantage you might need in terms of choosing the vetoes. And the number 1 seed for champs is pretty valuable. Number 2 seed is okay. Now, you would imagine that if OpTic are at minimum number 2 seeds, they tend to have FaZe's number regardless of the vetoes. But regardless, right, number 1 seed would be pretty handy for OpTic, and currently they are sitting at 15 points behind, which is very close with a few weeks left to actually making that happen. OpTic is sitting at 2-0, FaZe is sitting at 1-1. If OpTic could go 5-0 and FaZe were to go 3-2, that's only 5 points OpTic would be behind, and then OpTic would just need to outplace them at the major. Let's say OpTic gets second again, God forbid for the OpTic fans, but if they were to and FaZe were to get third, that would be enough to secure OpTic the number 1 seed for the World Championship if they don't lose any of their qualifiers. So very interesting to see how this goes, but yeah, 15 points only the gap now between the 2 teams at the top. Toronto are in third, actually, above the Thieves at 265, Thieves at 255. Subliners, I'm pretty sure they were also clinched effectively, but it's not been made official here on this one. And then obviously the race here for the World Championship, 20 points now separating Rokkr and Legion. And again, if Legion can, win their series against Rokkr and they can do okay outside of that, they could be in a decent position, because Minnesota Rokkr, this I thought was remarkable actually, but their record online since January is absolutely atrocious. And if it continues, Legion probably will beat them. They'll have to turn up on land nonetheless. They'll have to try and start in winners Legion and make a bit of a run there, but there's definitely, the door is definitely still open, right? And Rokkr left it open, I think, with that loss to the Boston Breach last weekend. That was controversial in its own right. And also, not only is this Rokkr versus Legion match massive for champs, but it's also a bounty game. So another 10 grand on the line for all of these 6 games. And, FaZe, they play London, so that's a free 10k. Thieves play Florida, so you'd think that would be the case as well. So, there's some interesting ones here, right? So there's Rokkr versus Legion. There's Toronto versus OpTic as a bounty game. That's interesting. Even Surge Boston is pretty good as well. So some matches here that should be easy cash, some maybe not quite so much. And just speaking of Rokkr, I thought this is a fantastic one because we saw the races yesterday, right, between Bance and JoeDeceives. But as Brian Stat says, Rokkr are 7-14 in the last 21 matches, 7-6 on LAN, 0-8 online. Their only wins in qualifiers over the last few months have been at their own home series, right? They're 3-1 in their home series over the last couple of majors they've done it. But online in qualifiers, they haven't won one since January, I believe. And now they play Vegas, Thieves, and Toronto. Thieves and Toronto should be losses for Rokkr. And Vegas, that's probably a bit of a coin toss, but it's still definitely up there. And look at this. January the 29th was the last time they won an online series match. If you guys are Vegas fans, you'll be very optimistic about this, because that definitely paints the picture that they're going to lose again against, Vegas, Thieves, Toronto. And if that's the case, then, wow, we really have a storm on our hands come to Major 5. Let's dive into this story then. Shotzzy versus Ghosty and others. We saw the clips a while ago of even Dashy when he comes up against Shotzzy. It's just difficult to deal with this guy. The POV of him from his own perspective is fun to watch, but when you watch it from another player's perspective, that's when you really get the picture of how hard this guy is to deal with when you play in these games. These were a few clips here from Ghosty getting tucked into bed by Shotzzy over the last couple of days or so, but also a clip from the OpTic podcast quite a while ago now, but it was put out as a fresh clip on the OpTic Texas channel just yesterday, I believe, discussing a leaked Scrim set of quite a while ago now between OpTic and the New York Subliners.
We got 2 on the left, there's 2 on the left, there's 2 on the left.
Couches and he push out big. He push out.
That's f***ing ridiculous, bro.
No, our sec con. Yeah, they're kitchen. He's on the dumpster, right side, on the dumpster.
Bottom. 1 shot in 10. I just got choked so bad. Oh my god, bro. What is that? What the is that, bro?
Yeah. Did you get time for me? I'm just taking the heady. I think he got me. Yo, let's gas, top gas, plat.
I don't know what to run on my gun anymore, bro. I don't know what to run on my gun anymore. I actually shoot so dog shit, bro. I'm so terrible, bro.
One spawn. Got me.
I'm about to leave the game, bro, in a second. I'm actually about to leave. Dude, they're just, I'm literally just being cut, dude. There's 4 kill whores on one roster.
Yeah. One single, then. That's my bad.
I'm rotating, guys. What the f am I playing right now, bro?
Okay. I'm trying to cut their side right now. One just went wine arch. You reach out at me and one's actually dead. One wine arch tag. What the f? Character is this wine arch tagged.
Stormy. One's freezer. Still there. One's actually one.
Dude, I was walking past the team room the week leading up, and I was like, I just kind of popped in, say what's up to JP, and I'm like watching them play, and then Ghosty, I'm shooting on that like camera or whatever, and then Ghosty's like, "Yo, get this," and he clicks the like previous match because they're in the lobby, and they had 50-point clubbed a top team, and I was like, "What?"
Who was it?
I don't want to like say it.
You can say it.
NYSL. They
Fucking pissed on
yeah,
top team. They've been getting fucking filleted. They've been getting butchered up.
That is true. Well, I didn't know that at the
They're
time.
on thin ice.
They were on thin ice yesterday on the breakdown.
They're on.
So you can see Ghosty getting, I think, understandably frustrated with Shotzzy. The guy, like, the kid is definitely a rager, right? Ghosty, you could definitely tell. There was also this moment where he rage quit this 8th game. He was getting, tucked into bed a bit by Pred on the other side, and he decided enough was enough. And, I know there's been a bit of debate about Ghosty's personality. Some people really like the guy. Some people watch his streams and they think that he's a bit, frustrating to listen to. And look, it's a personality thing. People are going to have their opinions. But it's definitely interesting because some of his actions in the streams definitely said he actually rage quit so fast. His body didn't even hit the ground before he rage quit the game. That was actually kind of impressive. This guy has definitely practiced, you could tell on that one. But I thought the whole thing was pretty interesting. But the other side of that, I just wanted to mention from that podcast clip that I didn't mention at the time because I think it came out quite a while ago now. But as I say, OpTic's just put it out as a fresh video on their YouTube channel of Hitch suggesting that he walked into a scrim where Ghosty and co were playing New York subliners and they absolutely bodied them. Now, of course, that's quite a while ago. I think that was shortly after Major 3 when the subliners were considered to be on thin ice. Since then, they've kind of rebounded a little bit, right? We're now into Major 5, so it's obviously, a month and a bit ago now this was going on, but still it kind of paints the picture that even subliners, a pretty solid hardpoint team and solid respawn team in general, can get blended by OpTic, especially in scrims. Couple of things to close out with here. Thought this is quite nice from Formal. So Arcitys says, it'll get better because I'm sure he's frustrated with the circumstances on Los Angeles Guerrillas. The way that he signed there on this, 2+1 year deal was going to be set for quite some time. Turns out that's not really the case. The future of that franchise is very much up in the air right now. And of course, the team is in the absolute blender on a 10 series loss streak, something like that. But Formal says, look, your story isn't over hanging there because I'm sure Formal felt also frustrated playing Call of Duty back in the Cold War days when he was going to retire. And then he, of course, did retire, but, he knew his story wasn't over. He went to Halo and has had a lot of success over there over the last couple of seasons. That was pretty cool to see. And also, so there's been 8 players this season that have made 2 grand finals. That's been, of course, OpTic Texas. They've made 2 finals, as have Los Angeles Thieves. OpTic are 0-2. Thieves are 1-1. Octane across those 2 series is a 1.10 KD. Very impressive from him and far and away the best out of all the players that have made 2 finals. Probably expected that the OpTic guys in general don't have the best KDs just because they've gone 0-2 in their finals. So Dashy's a 1.01, Huke is a 0.93, Ghosty a 0.9, Shotzzy a 0.89, and then the rest of Thieves, Kenny at a 0.96, Drazah, Envoy as well over the 2 of them. So pretty interesting stuff. And this is the Kenny that, if Kenny can drop a 0.96, like Thieves should be fine. But it's when he's having these stinkies online and he's dropping like a 0.6 or 0.7 where, you can't tell me that Kenny dropping a 0.6, oh, he's just doing the dirty work. Like, if he's got 18 in 42, like, that's definitely detrimental to the team, regardless of what you think about KD being, a good or bad metric. At some point, it's a relevant metric. And, these are the overall Grand Finals KDs. Scrappy at a 1.33. I mean, that is really impressive. Cell, Skies, Sasha 1.14. 1 appearance minimum, of course, for these guys. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.